I'm going to be going over the code for learning boards. As you can see here, you can download it from GitHub. The repository name is Learning Board. There are two projects. The first one is called Prototype, as you can see. The second one is called Node Backend. Now, they're both server applications, which might be a little confusing, but the prototype, you can think of it as the server code that you see, whereas the backend, it's more about storage and server logic. Now, once you download them, I'm going to go ahead and show you what they look like in the file system. I've gone ahead and expanded those two zips. And as you can see here, the very first one is the backend, and this has configurations for a sales type application. And I'll mention more about that in a minute. The other one is a typical web application doing posts to a backend. So let's go ahead and go back to the root. Now I'm going to mention a few things about what Sales is. Sales is a rapid prototyping environment for Node.js. As you can see here, you can quickly start to add APIs, you can add databases, and so on. So it's a very quick way with which to write an application. Now what you need to do in order to install this is you need to enter the command that you see here, which is sudo npm-g install sales. That is, of course, if you are on a Unix or Mac machine. If not, you don't need the sudo, as you can see there on the documentation. Now, once you do that, there's going to be a few more commands that you need to issue. And as you can see here, I've written them down for you. You need to enter npm install, and this will simply pull all of the dependencies for the project. You need to do this for both. I'm not sure. I suspect that if you do not do it on the one that is just front-end code, it probably doesn't matter, but I'd go ahead and do it just to be on the safe side. If you do not have Grunt Grunt, go ahead and install it. You certainly need to install it locally. I couldn't get it to work before I did that. And then this line here, by the way, is not for the application. This is simply to generate within this framework a new sample application, and these are just notes I was making. But the one that follows is how you launch an application. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that next. You basically type sales lift, and the application launches. Now I also have here on line 21 a note to a pretty good overview and how to get started on sales. This is an hour-long talk. I think you only need the first 30 to 40 minutes. Most of the rest is just context. And you can see here the YouTube address. So let me go ahead and move over to the command line. And over on the left-hand side, I have the backend code. As you can see there, I have some command line notices of applications I was doing when I created a user and when this was launched. I'm going to go ahead and run it again. Remember, this is the backend, as you can see there in the command line. And I'm going to go ahead and enter sales lift. Everything else is getting loaded. And you can see there that this app is running on localhost 1337. This is the default port for sales, but this is, again, remember, this is the sales side. Now I'm going to go ahead and launch the front end code, which is also coming from a server, but this is going to be a simple HTTP server running at port 8080, and I am using one of the npm package, which is HTTP server, and you can see there that I am inside of learning boards, which is the prototype. I'm going to go ahead and hit return, and you can see there that the app and the server is up and running. Now if I go over to the files, to the application, you can see here that I have one that is running 1337, and I just wanted to show you that because if we actually hit that, remember that is the sales side of it, you get this 404 saying there's nothing here, but that's because this backend is mainly an API, and so there's no UI that goes with it. Now if you hit the 8080, as I've shown here, go ahead and get rid of the index, we should get the front end for boards, and you can see there that all of those requests came through on the side, and you can start also to interact as you would with the online version. You can create new users, you can create new boards, and so on. So this is enough to get you up and running to do the installation of the application. From here on out, it's a matter of just getting a bit familiar with After that, we can start to modify the code to our content. I'm going to go ahead and send this video also to the two guys that develop all this code to make sure my assumptions are correct. I'll copy everyone on the email, and we can go from there. So that's it for this overview. Goodbye.